Check the chat room and all that. Make sure we're good.
Shalom, brothers. Do you hear us out there? Yahweh Bashin, Yahweh Shai, Brakathum.
All that.
It's on.
All right, come. So we get this chat room popping. Hey, shalom, brother.
Shalom, brothers. Yahweh Bashin, Shai, Brakathum.
Yahweh Bashin, Yahweh Shai, Brakathum. We're doing a quick audio and video check. Let us know how we sound, and if you can see us, hear us, and all that. Let us know.
Shalom, brethren. Let me see something.
Yeah, check on the phone.
Yeah. Can't hear y'all. I see it. You hear us now? Shalom. Oh, okay, I hear us. That was you. Okay.
Hey, brothers, let us know if you can hear us, see us. Check on my phone. Okay, cool.
All right, cut. Shalom, brothers.
Shalom. Yep. All right, brother. Shalom. Yahweh Shina Shabbat Thumb. The bonus to the apostles of Great Millstone. All right. See the elder soccer runs up in the chat room. Shalom.
Shalom, bro.
So, brothers, and we have Elder Anab, myself, Ayathan, Elder Tazadagba, and Elder Tazawan. All right. And this is going to be an open forum because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. By the way, tonight's the beginning of the new Sabbath, right? Friday night to Saturday night. All right. And yeah, man. So there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on with this guy Trump. All right. As you see, he's been in office for a week.
Not even a week yet. But today, no, a week. Yeah.
A week today.
Yeah, today.
Yeah, he's only been in there for a week today.
Yeah.
Right? His inauguration was
the 20th.
Right, last Friday. This woman effort passed what 12 more than that. Yeah, this dude passed a plethora.
Look at him.
A plethora of executive orders. I mean, this guy is not playing around. Hold on a second. Let me I want to get some visuals on the screen for y'all. All right.
Yeah, he's not playing.
Hey, but the Lord got him doing that, man. You know,
he's moving quick.
He's moving quick. He's doing his own thing. You know.
Yep.
He's doing things that the past presidents wouldn't even think of, and this dude just got in there. So it's going to be a big roller coaster ride, man. These prophecies are coming to pass, and like I said, I must say this guy is friggin' Alexander the Creep, but he's moving swiftly, just like how Alexander moved swiftly. Yeah. And if you remember during the time of the Maccabees, when Alexander was conquering all the nations, and he conquered them quick. That's why he's known as a leopard. You know, he moved like an eagle, right? And if you remember now, remember the history during that time, that was Jacob's trouble right there.
That's right.
Because they put hell on Israel at that time.
That's right.
So it's gonna be it's gonna happen again in the times we're in now. You know. So while this brother is doing what he's doing, let's start with the scripture here. I'm gonna go into the history a little bit. Brothers, my precepts. This is in Apocrypha, the book of Maccabees, the first chapter, and the first verse. And it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes. Now, Alexander is who the world knows as they call him Alexander the Great, but there's nothing great about him. He's the devil. He's an Edomite. He's filthy. He's scum. The dude dropped dead of syphilis. But he conquered Darius, king of the Persians, which prior to the so-called white men who call themselves Greeks at that time, prior to them ruling, the Persians and the Medes were ruling, which are the so-called, today you know them as Dotheads, East Indians, Pakistanians, the Pakis. All right, they were ruling the planet Earth, believe it or not.
Yeah,
they had the Earth in subjection, man.
Yeah.
All right,
and it was like at that time considered like suicide to go against them because of the armies that the Persians, they were a mighty They were a mighty empire, man. They were mighty.
Yeah, they were fierce, man.
Fierce.
That movie, the 300.
300 shows you. Like the other guy now brought out. 300 shows you the might of and the splendor that the Persians had. Their might and their splendor.
Right. You know, and they ruled the whole known world at the time. So when Alexander came up, he took them down with no problem.
Yeah.
You know, it says
quickly too.
And quickly, right? Swiftly, quickly. It says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead, and oath the first over Greece.
Hey, Slack, let me. I want to read this real quick.
Go ahead.
So this, I just looked up the Persians, right? And they're we were talking about how fierce they were. So I was looking up their torture methods, right? So I just want to read this. It's called something they used to do called scaphism, right? Scaphism. It says it was an ancient Persian method of execution designed to inflict torturous death that was described by the Persians' arch enemies, the Greeks, right? We're talking about the Greeks.
Right? Yeah, the white guys.
Yep. The name comes from the Greek scaphe, meaning anything scooped or hollowed out, right? So this is what they did. The intended victim was stripped naked and then firmly fastened within the interior space of two narrow rowing boats or hollowed out tree trunks. Joined together one on top of the other with the head, hands, and feet protruding, the condemned was forced to ingest milk and honey, and more honey would be poured on the victim to attract insects, with special attention devoted to the eyes, ears, mouth, face, genitals, and anus.
Yeah.
In some cases, the executioner would mix milk and honey and pour that mixture all over the victim. The victim would then be left to float on a stagnant pond, or to be exposed to the sun. It says the defenseless individual's feces accumulated within the container attracted more insects, which would eat and breed within the victim's exposed flesh.
Wow. So that means flies. That means flies will go and lay maggots.
Was dancing all in your ass.
Yeah, maggots all up in your ass.
They said they made them take that because you know milk and honey is a laxative. It makes you shit.
Yeah. And it attracts the insects. And then you shit, and that attracts more insects.
Hey, speaking on that, you know this dude Donald Trump. Oh, yes, one of his executive orders. The torture methods.
Yep. The waterboarding.
Waterboarding. I ain't gonna start with that. There's gonna be more. Because really, waterboarding is lightweight compared to the other tortures they got prepared, man.
Yo, man. I mean, Lord willing, the Spirit will go into what basically what Trump is doing. He's cutting. In other words, he's finalizing turning to America into a concept, getting ready for the prison camps and the torture and bringing that new world order.
That's right.
You see, because these executive orders that he's passing is basically he's building. He calls it the wall. He's building really a wall around America, and he's cutting off foreigners their visas so they can't come in. So he's sectioning out America, getting it ready to be taken over, you know, by the military.
That's right.
Well, go ahead, bro.
All right, cut. It says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. And by the way, this is the first cracker to actually rule the whole known world.
Right.
Prior to this, that
was Alexander the Greek.
That's right. He's the first white guy to actually rule in the known world. Because prior to that, Esau, the so-called white man, never ruled anything. The Lord raised him up at that time, and it was prophesied. When you go back to the book of Daniel, when Daniel prophesied him as the leper. All right, and he also described how swiftly he was going to take down the nations, and it happened.
And he was known as the goat.
He was known as the goat.
He was known as the rough goat, the king of Grecia, but he was also known as a leopard, because a leopard is known for its like quickness and its like jumping ability. It's very quick and agile. So he was quickly just taking nations, taking strongholds, quickly taking them over and absorbing them. Right. That's what he did.
He was the first over Greece. And it says, and made many wars and won many strongholds. Yes, sorry.
No, go ahead. It said he made many wars and he won many strongholds. What the hell is the so-called white man doing now? They're still doing what? Making many wars and taking and setting up strongholds. When you set up, you go into a country and you talking about you're going to bring democracy, and then what you do? You talk about you set up a garrison there. That's an occupation. You go in there talking about you're going to set up democracy, you want to free the people, and then you leave a bunch of soldiers there. Basically, you set up a garrison. So that's an occupation. Mm-hmm. So now you're occupying that country.
Embassies.
You got embassies set up there. That's an occupation, right?
Yeah, I mean, the other design one I got real quick.
Bring it.
This is in Daniel's 8, right? I'm gonna just read 4 to 6, and this is going in right what the elders going into about Alexander the Greek taking down the Medo-Persian Empire, and then just basically conquering the so-called known world at that time. So this is the prophecy in Daniel's, right? This is Daniel's 8 and 4, and it says, I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward. And that ram was referring to the Medo-Persian Empire, right? It says, so that no beast might stand before it, meaning the other nations that it took over, the Most High gave the Medo-Persian Empire the power to rule.
Yep.
So the other kingdoms, they couldn't stand before the Medo-Persian Empire, all right, against its fierceness, because the Most High was with them at that point in time, all right? It says, neither was there that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. Verse 5, it says, and I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth. Now the he-goat is referring to who? That was referring to Alexander the Greek, as they call him. We call him Alexander the Greek, all right? And it says, and touch not the ground, meaning like Elder Tazdak was saying, when Alexander came with his armies, they moved so fast. They use a technique in football they call it blitzkrieg or blitz. Yeah, blitz, which means lightning. You move at a lightning speed. Yep. Okay, so he came with them at a force called blitzkrieg, or the blitz. Okay, so it said his feet touched not the ground because he was moving so fast. Okay, and it says, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes, and the horn represents power. Okay, verse 6, and it says he came to the ram that had the 2 horns, representing the Medo-Persian Empire.
Medo-Persian Empire, that's right.
Right, because if you're in the prophecy with the 2 horns, it said one horn was taller than the other one.
Right.
The taller horn will represent the Persian Empire.
That's right.
Because it started out as a dual rulership,
right,
and the Persians superseded the Medes, which the Medes are the sons of Japheth.
That's
so
right.
You can understand. And they're not white people, by the way.
Yeah.
You know?
So how can you say the Bible is a false book? I mean, it's going to accounts that actually happened. All right, this is a prophecy, meaning.
And this happened before Alexander came into power.
Yeah, this was before Alexander came into power. All right, and it says, and he came to the ram that had the 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran into him in the fury of his power.
That's the white guy.
Yeah.
And when the white man first came into power under Alexander the Greek,
It took him the F out.
You know,
Hey, just a quick footnote. That's why when Alexander the Greek ran into the priests of the Hebrews or Israelites, he gave them reverence. He knew that the Lord was with him for him to take over the country at that time. That's in the history books.
He knew the prophecy.
Yeah,
Yep.
and they all know the prophecy because Donald Trump pushing all these executive orders to fulfill what's going on in Revelations 12:12. They know they got a short time.
they got a short time. Dude, if a guy knows you have a short time to do something, they're gonna they're gonna jump,
He's
you
gonna
know?
scramble and
Yep.
move.
Yep.
He's gonna, and okay, and y'all know because the apostles been bringing this out. The elders put out with mass videos that they moved was at the doomsday clock.
Oh, yeah.
They moved it up to
2 minutes.
I think the elder sacrifice said 1 minute, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, so they know that. Y'all know what the dooms clock is, right? That's a dooms clock is how much time is left before what they call, there's a term that they have, is called Teotwaki, meaning the end of the world as we know it. Not the end of the world. That shows you right there, they know the world is not going to be completely destroyed. They know there's going to be a change of rulership. So they call it the end of the world as we know it. Meaning what you see around you, Esau ruling, and the other nations ruling, that's the world right now as we know it, but there's going to be an end to that. Yep, that's in the Apocrypha. The elder is going to get it right now. Yep. Okay, that's also in the book of Job, about he has a bound that he cannot pass. That's in the book of Revelation, the 7th chapter. Okay, how the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. You know, if the Spirit have us go into it, we will. All right. But yeah, they have a term called Teotwaki, the end of the world as we know it. And like the elder quoted the scripture in Revelation, that Esau scrambling because he knows he has a short time left. So that's why Trump is pulling out these executive orders back to back to back to back. 2017, man, it's gonna be some shit.
Yes.
All right.
And then, that's the reason why that show that was popular in the 70s, Planet of the Apes, starring Charlton Heston, 60s.
Yeah.
Well, the 60s, I said 70s, 60s. Planet of the Apes was real popular because that's what it was dealing with. It was dealing with the end of the world as we know it. Because when he crashed in the ship or whatever, and he was on the beach, and he thought he was on another planet. Then he seen the Statue of Liberty buried in the sand, and he was like, "Oh!" He started yelling, "I can't believe it! You did it! You done it!" Because he realized that he was on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And that the apes took over. The apes being us. Okay, being the Israelites.
Yeah, they call us apes.
Yeah. Had taken over. That's what that's all about. The end of the world as we know it. The end of your world.
Now, they're saying, I was listening to talk radio while I work and shit. You know, these crackers, they say, well, you know, nuclear, it's inevitable that there's going to be a nuclear war. But they're thinking, their reasoning is that if there is a nuclear war, it's going to end the planet Earth civilization. That'll be just it. But what you crackers don't know is, first of all, you don't know that you're the Edomites, most of you. You come out of Esau.
That's
and
right.
according to the prophecy in the Bible, you are the end of the world. But the world doesn't end. Because Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. I'm going to read it right now. I got it. This is our second Esdras 6. I'm going to go to the point in 7. Can you read above that? The Most High is saying, look, I created everything. Nobody but me. I created the heavens, the earth, all right, the animals, the trees, the people, the nations, and even my chosen nation, I created all.
And he even said he created the wicked for the day of evil.
And he created the wicked for the day of evil. That's right. So then this is verse 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. It says, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? And what are the times we're living in now? We're living in the time of the parting asunder. What's going to be parted? Esau's rulership will be parted, destroyed, and pushed out of here. And we're going to be brought up under Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
What does it say a little bit above that?
Okay, I'll go above it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 1, brother. All right. 2nd Ezra 6 and 1. And he said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or ever winds blew, before it thundered or lightning, or ever the foundations of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen.
The foundations of paradise.
That was paradise, the earth.
The earth. Yeah, so the earth is not going to be destroyed. The Most High.
I'm going to get that real quick. The earth
is abided forever.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so the earth is not going to be destroyed. The Most High created the earth to be inhabited and to be ruled by the Israelites. Okay? The Idan, okay, is gonna turn back into the Garden of Eden the way the Most High intended it, but even better than it was when Adam, when the Lord created Adam in the beginning during the time of Genesis. It's going to be even better than that, and we're even going to have access to the other planets. Okay.
Yeah. In other words, the things that Esau wish he can do,
Right.
we're going to be doing it.
Yeah, we're gonna boldly go where no man can go.
Here it is, technology. Every day, his technology is going up through the roof, but yet he still can't go out of space. Take a trip to Mars.
Hold up, but one of Trump's speeches, he mentioned that. He said, we're gonna go out there and get all the minds together because that space is such a frontier that needs to be discovered and to go beyond.
Yeah.
He did mention that.
Yeah, he mentioned it, but guess what, Trump? You ain't going there.
But he going to the building to be a slave.
Yeah, well, they're gonna breathe out there too. Just to watch his red head blow.
Okay.
You devils can't even get past the Van Allen belt. How the hell you gonna go in there in outer space?
Yeah, the Lord didn't create you to
You
go out.
can't get past that radiation belt up there above the earth. You can't go
Plus,
past that.
man, you're behind in the technology race anyway.
Yeah, you're way behind, man.
Yeah, the Russians.
They always with
Yeah,
that.
Joe beat that. You know what I found out? You know that footage about with the Star Wars system in outer space? It was shooting the laser, the chariot.
Yeah.
That was actually Russian technology, Russian defense system.
That was their defense.
That was them. That was them. It's called the ST-48. You know, and that was they have a laser system. I forgot what island it's on, but that was them. So they're way ahead of y'all, man. They call that was a particle beam. But they way ahead of y'all, man, as far as what technology.
Yeah.
So that's why the Most High is going to use them to destroy you with the nuclear missiles, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's why the doomsday clock moved. But guess what? They ain't moving far enough. It's really farther than what they say.
Yep.
Because it's right at the doors, man. Destruction time for America.
You got it, brother? Ecclesiastes?
Yeah, read that. Earth abides forever.
You got that one. He's had another one, Isaiah.
What you got there?
Okay.
It's Isaiah 45 and 18. But thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, the Most High himself that formed the earth and made it. He hath established it. He hath created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited.
Damn.
There it is, man. There it is.
Yeah, he formed it to be inhabited. So I got Ecclesiastes 1 and 4. It says, one generation passeth and another generation come, right? But the earth abideth forever.
And the word abide means what? To live. The earth lives forever.
Yep. So the whole earth is not going to be destroyed. That is other thing saying that the sun is going to move closer to the earth and
Yeah,
burn it up. It's all bullshit.
It was that bullshit where
Yeah. And guess what? And you see the chariots out there playing in the heavens, they can move the sun back. The Lord said he opened up the heavens like a curtain.
Yep.
So he can play with that as much as he wants. Even if you got in your forecast, he just putting that terror upon you. And then when things get right back in order, spread it right back out.
Spread it right back out.
Hey, the scripture said Luke 137, there's nothing impossible with that.
Hey, I mean, in the history, I can't, man, I wish it was a time when we were like, it was a war, a battle that we were in, Israel was in.
Made the sun stay up.
Moses he kept his hands up and kept the sun up.
Yeah.
While the sun stayed out, it was winning the battle. Yeah.
Oh no, that was a serpent. Here we had the serpent. The serpent.
But it's one of the keys where the sun stayed out.
Yeah, the sun stayed out. Yep. So look at that, man. But the bottom line is the earth abides forever, man. So going back to 2 Ezra 6 and 2. Before thunder or lightning, or ever the foundations of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, which, you know, going back to where it says, or ever the movable powers, which are going into the angels.
Yeah.
All right?
Look at that.
It says, were established before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, or ever the heights of the air were lifted up.
I'm sorry, brother. Can you rewind? Like
I'm going to rewind and come again, bro.
Before the heights of the air were lifted up.
Yeah, come back to verse 3. Before the fair flowers were seen. And look at, brother, we going to the world of botany, dealing with the flowers and plants.
Yep.
Brother, you know how beautiful flowers are, right?
Right.
You got botany that we ain't never seen before on this earth, man.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
We never really seen them. Brother, we were born in this shit because of the curses.
Yep.
So how much more when the Lord revamps the earth? You know?
Well, shit. Like they just found a plant or a method, I think, in Ammon that it regenerates your freaking teeth.
Brother, there's so many things on
So the
earth.
teeth
Yeah.
can fix itself with cavities and all that shit.
Yeah.
So all these medicines Esau got to fix certain things, there's a natural form of that, a natural plant that they don't tell you about. There's an island off the coast of Haiti. It's called La Navas, which actually was owned by Levi, but they don't have any military. So Esau just straight up took the shit over. Basically, they say that island is in the same state today as when Columbus first landed on when they landed in Hispaniola. It's in the same state because it's protected by these reefs that you can't get near with a ship. You got to land on a ship. And they said there's animals and plants and trees and coral reefs, all type of life forms that have never been seen before. So right now it's like some Jurassic Park shit.
Wow.
Got scientists over there taking samples.
And how many more islands like that? Look at the Pacific Islands. There's so many islands out there in the Pacific that nobody ever been on yet, man.
Hey, even as worse and the cursed state as the earth is, the Lord said He still make new creatures.
Yep.
Even in His cursed state. Man.
God. Now go back. Second Ezra 6:3. Before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, or ever the heights of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmament were named, or ever the chimneys of in Zion were hot, and ere the present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them that now sin were turned, before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure, talking about the elect.
Kind of talking about the elect.
And the prior is talking about the wicked. All right? Gathered faith for a treasure. This is a treasure. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended.
Yeah, so Esau, he claimed the moon, right? He claimed he so-called claimed the whole universe. Right. Claimed the earth, claimed the people, claimed the air, claimed the land, all right? And the things that he can't claim, like when I say claim, like patent, like there's certain things he can't patent, like herbs, right? Because the herbs, the Most High created the herbs. So anything that the Most High created that he can't, something that he can't patent, he'll make it illegal. So he's got these different agencies like the FDA. Okay, the FDA, they make a lot of herbs, which they want to do it with all the herbs. In other words, you won't even be able to go into a supermarket and buy spices because that's going to be considered illegal. And so he wants to take anything that he can't patent that the Most High created, he wants to make it illegal, all right, or totally eliminate it. Why do you think they got GMO foods and GMO crops, GMO animals?
Because he can put a patent and own those.
Because he can patent those and he can own it. He can sell it.
Yep. Now, even the Gulf Wars and all those wars over there in the Middle East, Iraq and everywhere else that they conquered, Monsanto has contracts to put the seeds over there. So so now they own the earth, lock, stock, and barrel. Yeah, now they own it. Now they own it. It's truly the devil, man. That goes into the unrighteous decrees.
Yeah, and Monsanto, what is their first step at patenting something in nature, which is a seed? Because before the government wouldn't allow that to happen where you can patent a seed, because that's food. That's something that the Most High made. But by them letting Monsanto patent that seed, that Monsanto seed that they got, now they have a patent on something that the Most High created, that they modified with their Frankenstein science. That's their first step. Like they have that super salmon out there, which basically in a certain amount of generations you won't be able to get regular salmon anymore, because they got the super salmon that's mixed with the eel. Damn. Salmon and the eel mix together to make a super big salmon. Yep. And then like when you go to the farmers markets and they got the fish there, if the fish was done at a fish farm, then it's probably a GMO fish from a fish farm, because they had, they got the pools, they got it there, and they got modified, genetically modified fish that they grow at them fish farms, and they sell them at these farmers markets. So it's like, man, everything is tainted, man. Yeah, that's why the Lord said, "You're gonna burn this bitch, neither blade nor root." Everything gotta be burnt. Yeah. Has to. Everything got to be burnt.
Yeah, because everything's defiled. That's why the scriptures say the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Everything is defiled, man.
Hell, the air got to be burnt. When them missiles hit, all of these fucking chemtrails and shit that's in the fucking air, the nuclear fire is gonna burn all that shit up.
Basically, it's gonna create a carbon filter.
That's right.
Yep. That ash is gonna create a filter and clean out the air.
That's right. Yep. The waters, like the scriptures say, the waters were made bitter. The waters are polluted. They're dumping shit from these different cities, pumping it out into the sea. They're pumping it out into the sea, messing up the ecosystem out there in the sea, where you got killer whales and sharks beaching themselves because they can't take it no more.
Commit suicide, basically.
Basically commit suicide. Them coming out of water, is them committing suicide because they breathe underwater. We breathe, our lungs are able to, when we're babies, we breathe underwater like a fish in our mother's stomach. But once we come out, the doctor slaps you on the ass and you start crying, basically, your lungs start metabolizing the oxygen that's in the air.
I got a scripture for you. This is Jeremiah 51:25. Said, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord.
The destroying mountain. That's so-called white man.
Esau, yeah.
Esau, mainly here in America and all the other countries where he rules.
That's right.
Well, America is their top country, right? And because the mountain represents what? Government, major government, and it's a destroying government. The so-called white man. And y'all, if you don't think the so-called white man's a destroyer, you're gonna see some destroying very shortly. Your homeboy, the Red Eagle, that's in the office.
Yeah, Donald Trump.
Boy. And by the way, he said he got something for you niggas in Chicago.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna fix your wagons over there.
Yeah.
You know.
He's gonna bring martial law in there. He's gonna send the troops up in there. That's what he's gonna do.
That's what he's gonna do.
He's gonna send his best killers.
And not just Chicago, niggas all over. You minority. Now, when they talk about the illegals, they always talk about the so-called Mexicans, which Mexicans are Israelites. You are the tribe of Issachar. That's right. Brother, there's illegal Arabs. Wait a minute, I thought the Arabs were freaking terrorists.
Yeah.
But they never talk about the illegal Arabs, talk about illegal Mexicans. It's all about Jacob and Esau, man.
Yep.
And you're gonna see it, boy.
Well, he did pass that executive order, right?
Which one?
Today to block the Arabs.
Yeah, to block the Arabs. Yeah, well, yeah, you're gonna start. Yeah,
Visas.
you're gonna block their visa, so you Arabs can't come in and open up a subway, you know. But he mainly wants you Jakes, you Issacharites, you know.
Yeah,
Judah.
see the Latin tribe going after.
You know, Benjamin gonna be in there because you got a whole lot of West Indians living here illegal in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Because I know a few of them. You know, and if you watch it, your time is numbered, man.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's why he coined the phrase "Make America Great Again."
Yep.
Get all the undesirables out.
Yep.
Yeah.
He'll talk about the immigrant Albanians.
Yeah.
And everything
Yeah,
else.
the Polish, Germans. He ain't talking about them.
Oh, what about the gooks? There's more illegal gooks than anybody else.
Oh, hell yeah. They got sweatshops set up out there in different parts of California where them gooks are at.
Yeah.
They got different sweatshops where they got their own people set
And
up.
don't forget the what do you call those? The spas.
Yep.
Where they
Yeah, them spies.
you know, those gentlemen spas.
Yep.
Yeah,
A lot of them girls, they don't have their visa.
We love you a long time.
Yeah, that's all they can say. They came here only with those words. Well, I can't speak English. Just say I love you a long time. That's what it means.
Well, that's how they got over here, and that's them paying off their debt. They going into prostitution for their trip to America.
That's right.
You know? Oh, but it's Jeremiah 51:25. It says, behold, I'm against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroyeth all the earth.
Destroy all the earth and everything the brothers and elders just went into. All right, and some. There's nobody on the planet Earth you can stick that on but the so-called white man.
I mean, this devil he fucks with the weather. I mean, he modifies the weather. That's a real devil.
Yeah.
Causing like these crazy fluctuations we've been having in the weather.
Yep.
Right? That's Esau messing with that heart program.
The heart program.
Right.
Exactly.
And he has something called weather warfare, I think they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically, this devil's got different types of warfare. Not just coming out with guns, but he'll cause an earthquake. If he wants to shake up a nation, he'll use that heart program and send an earthquake.
Yeah.
Like they did in Haiti.
Yep.
So they can go in there and get that gold because they found out that they got gold over there.
Gold, and even more, they got oil. That's right. They say more oil than Venezuela.
That's it. See?
Yep.
Yeah, you know what's heavy though? And Esau so crafty and being the devil that he is, he'll put all his agendas and stuff in cartoons. Like you watch those old 80 cartoons, G.I. Joe. They had all that stuff from DNA's, making a super soldier.
When Serpentor, when they created Serpentor.
Yeah, the weather modification.
Yeah, that's what they called it. They called it High Freak. I remember. I used to watch G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
They called it High Freak, weather modification. Destro was the one that was inventing all of those. He was the technical guy that was inventing all of those different things that they were using.
Yeah.
That's a cartoon, but you know, that's exactly what they were doing.
They put a lot of stuff, like even the Simpsons, they put a lot of agendas in the Simpson cartoon.
Right.
Esau's crafty.
Yeah, he's the devil. You know. But now go back to the scripture here in Ezra. Now the Lord said He created He created, see, Esau think he's so bad. The Lord created you to do what you're doing, you know, to destroy you. All right, it says there, then, this is the Lord speaking in 2 Ezra 6:6. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. So who's making Esau do what he's doing? The Heavenly Father.
That's right.
He's the one that put him in power. Now we're living in a time now where he's getting ready to be taken out of power.
Yep.
That little season is up right now, man. As the Lord said, it's a little season.
Little
You know?
Yeah.
It says, verse 7, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows? Showing you that Ezra knew that the earth ain't going to be destroyed and all mankind will be extinct.
Yep.
He said, when is this devil going to go down and righteous kingdom come in behind it?
Yep, kingdom of heaven.
Yep.
Which is the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be ruled by our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, under Yahweh. And we're going to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai.
And
All
basically, Ezra's saying, when is Esau going to be brought?
Yeah, when is this going to
Esau's
happen?
kingdom going to be brought down, and when is the kingdom of heaven is going to be established?
And mind you, he asked this question 2,500 years ago.
In the disciples inquiry, that's where you get Matthew's 24th chapter, and that's why he gave a whole layout of rumors of wars, one nation rising up against another.
Another nation.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we'll get that after this. Yeah.
False anointed ones saying that they have the truth,
Yep.
and they're not speaking according to this gospel. If they tell you that this world, they're building up little towns for Israelites and having a agenda to stay here another 30 years, that's a key sign that they're a false prophet. Because the Lord said he don't call us servants, but he calls us his friends, because the servant doesn't know what his master is doing, but he let us know what's going on. As much as the Father allowed to him, he gave it to us, man.
Yeah, everything he knows, we know.
Good.
You know. But yeah, like you said, the disciples asked Yahweh Shai the same question.
That's
He
right.
said, will you at this time restore the kingdom of heaven? And people don't think, right? People are stupid. What the hell were they talking? What were they talking about? At that time, they were in slavery, right? Under who? Under the Romans.
That's right.
And they asked him, basically asked him, you gonna take down the Romans, Esau at this time? And when it says restore, that means to restore something means you had it at one time, you lost it, and you got it back. So we had the kingdom of heaven at one time, you could say.
Solomon.
Under the rule of Solomon. King David set it up, but under the rule of King Solomon. So you got to think, when King Solomon was ruling, King David, King Solomon, what was the state? Where were the other nations? What were they doing? Well, it tells you that King David, he had built garrisons around Esau and had him in slavery. So when the kingdom of heaven is going to be restored, where's Esau going to be? Esau is going to be in slavery.
Right.
The other nations going to be in slavery. Okay? So that's what entails in restoring the kingdom of heaven. Okay?
Cut. All right.
Mhm.
It says here, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows?
So basically, what are the signs of the end?
That's right.
And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Right. Because Esau came out, and then Jacob came out and he grabbed Esau's heel to pull his ass down.
That was symbolic.
It was symbolic of what's going to happen or what's to come.
Okay.
So when is going to be the ending of the first and the beginning of the second?
Second rulership.
Yeah, that's why.
The first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Okay. That's why Paul wrote with Thessalonians, the mystery of iniquity that now worketh. You know, that is showing that the Romans is Esau. That was the beginning of the Greco-Roman Empire, from Alexander the Greek, the leopard, unto the Romans, and that they're going to be the end of this world. That's why when Yahweh Shai was there, he said, look, the prince of this world cometh, which hath nothing in me.
Yeah.
Which is Esau.
Yep. That's why when you was going into it earlier about Alexander the Greek, in the Apocrypha, it tells you that when Alexander the Greek, which is, like you said, the first time that Esau got into rulership, they said that's when wickedness started to spread over the earth.
Yep. We got to go back there and read it again.
Because why? Because the so-called white man is a devil.
He's the wicked.
He's the wicked. He is the wicked.
And if you didn't think he's wicked, you won't see some wickedness, man.
Oh yeah, he's gonna show you.
Yeah.
They always give praise to Nimrod, calling him one of the first Masons, but they don't surpass what Nimrod did.
Yeah, Nimrod can't touch them.
Yeah.
This is 2 Ezra 6 and 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world. Where are we now? We get the end of the world. What world?
Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan. Exactly.
Esau, the end of Esau's world.
Right. And who's Esau? And that's without a shadow of a doubt showing you who Esau is. That's a so-called white man. We're at the end now. Who's been ruling for the past 500 plus years?
That's his little season.
His little season, so-called white man.
That's right.
So he's the end of the. They ain't talking about the Chinese. They ain't ruling. They might have their little missiles and their little. They might have flew a little rocket ship to, but they're doing it on the tails of Esau.
Yep.
Without Esau, they would never been able to do anything.
And you crackers, you steady try to hide any information on who Esau is. You basically, according to you, Esau doesn't exist no more. Esau was done away with. According to you so-called white people, Esau was done away with.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, you're Esau.
hey, speaking about the other nations, now when you watch Snowden, the one who brought out all the facts that they spy and everything.
Right.
Yeah, he brought out critical information on how they send ambassadors to each country and get inside their computers and put different links where they can't even control their nuclear missiles and certain things. That's why they want to kill that bastard so bad. So even, it's a lot of shit going on. Esau controls the world.
Well, now you mentioned Snowden and people like that. What do you call it? WikiLeaks and all this other shit.
Yeah. Whistleblowers.
That's that prophecy in Isaiah the 47th chapter, where she shall bear her legs, cross the rivers.
Yep.
Because America's that whore that you read about.
Yep.
And the whore's skirt is way up right now. It's past the panties.
Uncovered our lives.
It's up to
leg.
it's up to the damn navel right now.
Yep.
So the whole world knows this man is the devil,
Yep.
and something has to be done with him. Now they got red face up in office.
Yep.
So it's gonna be nothing but turmoil, more and more turmoil, and it's gonna be happening fast and quick.
People talking about he's gonna make America great again.
well, that's only a peon cracker would say that because they don't know any better.
America is more divided than it's
Yeah,
been.
That's right.
wait a minute. Now these hunkies are bold. You heard about that one hunky on the airplane called an Arab bitch, told her, "Look, Trump is in office. You people are gonna go home." And then you blacks, you're not safe. You're gonna start hanging niggas again.
Yeah,
That's right.
And a lot of you niggas will get pants. You have niggas hanging with their, back in the 30s, you had actual footage of dudes being hung with their pants off their ass.
Right.
That was only because he was being hung.
Right.
You have actual niggas with their pants hanging off their asses already, hanging. All right? There's gonna be race wars. We've been prophesying this. The scriptures tell you these things, man. I mean, in Ezra's, one people shall fight up against another people.
Yeah.
We're living in those times right now, man. All right? It says, for Esau, the so-called white man, is the end of the world. And Jacob's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man. Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
Right. The kingdom of heaven. That's what's going to follow. After this world, Esau is destroyed and this world is cleansed, then the kingdom of heaven is going to follow. And that's why it says here in the Zonovan, I'm going to read this out of the Zonovan. It says, Edom. Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgments. It says she is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from the Most High. You ain't getting no mercy at all. Mercy is only for the elect of Israel. And 2/3, they're going to receive that mercy in the kingdom because they're going to die on this side. They're not going to make it. Mercy is not promised to Ishmael. Mercy ain't going to be promised to Ham. Mercy is only to Israel. That's the reason why Yahushua came on the scene and died on the cross. To give Israel another avenue to still what? Get the kingdom of heaven. The promise that was made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why the scriptures say in Galatians, when the fullness of time was come, God sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law. Esau, the law wasn't given to Esau. Could somebody give me yeah, you get Isaiah 147. Could somebody give me Leviticus 26 and I think 45?
26, 45?
Yeah, 26 and 45.
All right.
It reads into 46, right? In the scripture in Galatians, it says to redeem them that were under the law. Made of a woman, meaning he was born. He was inserted into his mother's womb. He was born at the time of 9 months. Made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them, to buy back them that were under the law. That's the only reason, that's the reason why he came. He didn't come for all the nations out there. The other nations, you ain't got a chance in hell, man.
Yeah, never.
You never did. You never did. See, that's
just
just a hustle. That whole thing, God love everybody, bullshit, is a hustle for making money.
and it made trillions.
Because being an evangelist and teaching that bullshit, you make tons and tons of money. It's about money. It's a money grab.
But the real heathens know that they don't have a chance. That's why they got the UN and the EU to fight against the Most High.
Yeah, and no representative for Jacob, for Israel, because they're the enemy. They know we're chosen.
That's right.
That's why Ronald Reagan said, what if we have one common enemy and we come together? They know that. Now, he's not even the top rank to the elites, but he knew that much.
Yep.
And once you get to a higher certain degree in Freemasonry, they ask for more and more light. And once you hit 32nd, 33rd degree, they really just tell them what it's all about. You worship Satan. God doesn't love you. He only loved the Israelites, and we're going to put hell on them, and the whole agenda to keep them from knowing that they're Israelites. Psalm 83.
This is Leviticus 26 and 45. But I will, for their sakes, remember the covenant of their ancestors.
Wait a minute. The scripture said, this is the Most High speaking to Moses. But I will, for their sakes, remember the covenant of their ancestors. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. The three fathers of the promise. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Read it again,
Covenant. It says, but I will, for their sakes.
For our sakes. Go ahead.
Remember the covenant of their ancestors.
Wait a minute. Who received the covenant? The covenant wasn't given to everybody. What is that? To whom pertained the adoption and the covenants and the glory and the giving of the law? What is that? Romans 9?
Yeah, covenant.
To whom pertaineth, meaning to whom it belongs. That belongs to Israel. Paul broke it down like to the least common denominator in Romans 9. You cannot get around it.
That's right.
You can't get around it. You niggas, you Christian niggas, you crackers, you cannot get around that fact.
Romans 9.
Romans 9. To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law.
Yep.
All right? Israel. Go ahead, Doc.
Covenant. But I will, for their sakes, remember the covenant of their ancestors.
Of our ancestors. Our great ancestors. The Most High is saying, well, Abraham was his friend. He didn't say that about everybody else. Abraham, he said, was his friend.
That's right.
Abraham was counted worthy because of his faith. Remember, Abraham grew up in the land of Ur of the Chaldees. Around who? The Babylonians, the Cushites. They call today Ethiopians. His father, Terah, was into all of them damn gods. All them damn idols, which is Merodach, Baal, Baal Peor, all of them different gods that them damn Babylonians was worshiping. Okay? The worship of the Queen of Heaven, Mother's Day and all that bullshit. Father Terah and the Most High told him, look, man, get up out your father's house. He was in Ur of the Chaldees in the midst of all that. Then the Most High told him, look, you know, after his firstborn son Ishmael, the Most High didn't want Ishmael that he had by Hagar, his wife's bondmaid. He said, look, you're going to have a son. I'm going to deal with that son. And that was Isaac. In Isaac shall thy seed be called. That's what it goes back to. In Isaac shall thy seed be called. That Galatians. Go ahead,
Because it says
here.
here.
It's the promise. It's the promise.
That's right. Go ahead. It says, but I will, for their sakes, remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt.
Wait a minute. He's going to remember the covenant for our sakes, the covenant that he made with our ancestors. who he brought out of Egypt. We were in Egypt under the Pharaoh.
Yep.
400 years.
Yep.
And we were made to work. We were made to work with rigor. Okay, making them damn bricks so they can build them fucking pyramids, so they can build them damn treasure cities.
Hey, you know, that's why we got a picture. Like, think about those captivities, man. We got to picture it. You got to remember, back in them days, they didn't have those, like nowadays, all those instruments, those construction instruments.
No, everything was hand. If you
had to move thousands of pounds of rock or whatever by hand.
A crane was, they tied thick ropes around the big ass stone, and a couple of hundred men or hundreds of men will pull that freaking rope and pull that rope, or have trees, logs laying there. So if you want to move that, if you want to move it, you got to get behind and push it over the logs to make it roll, to roll it down to where you want to get it to. It took a lot of time.
And you got to remember too, brothers that was slaving back then, that the rock rolled over him, flat.
Yep.
And he keep working.
Keep working.
Because we just said we served in ancient Egypt in rigor. So we got a picture of what the hell was going on.
In paradise cities.
Huh?
Yeah, well, look at modern day Egypt. All the skyscrapers and bridges. You Google or look into all the Gadites that had great balance. That
Working with the skyscrapers.
Working the skyscrapers, all the bridges, but a lot of them fell.
Yeah.
They didn't have all the safety equipment.
Yeah, back
And
then.
the Panama Canal.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had a lot of Benjamin Levi, and some Gad. A lot of motherfuckers would die, man, because back then that's when they used to use the TNT.
Oh yeah.
The dynamite with the fuse.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times that thing, it wouldn't fire right. And then also with the fuse, they couldn't time. In other words, you weren't sure how many seconds.
Right.
So a lot of them freaking Benjaminites got blown to pieces, man.
Blown to pieces.
Or fell off. You know,
Yeah,
a lot of them died, man. Here in America, look at Manhattan, man. Most of Manhattan, the tip of it, most of Manhattan is landfill. That's not even a real land. And in that landfill, you got slave ships. You got dead Israelites that died, and doing that hard bondage.
Oh, you brought up Manhattan. Now, right where we speak at, you got Penn Station, right?
Yep.
Which is a major hub. You got 2 tunnels, one coming from Jersey and one coming from Queens for that railroad. You know who built those tunnels? They got Benjamin from Trinidad and other islands, because crackers over here didn't want to fuck with that. That was Newton digging a hole under the river to make a tunnel. So I ain't going under there. Yep. So they got a lot of Benjamin over there. A lot of them, I forgot what they call that pressure that's underneath the earth.
Right.
That can suck you and put. A lot of them were like middle of the river in the tunnel, and the fucking pressure will push them through, and it'll torpedo out the damn river.
See, there's a lot of history.
There's a lot of history, man.
Hey, but just a quick footnote. That's why you got a lot of Israelites inventors. The workload was so heavy that they thought of ways to make their workload easy. Esau didn't come up with that. They don't give a hell about your workload. That was that was the men in the battle. They said, how can I make this shit easier for me?
That's right.
And then Esau would steal it, take and patent it, and make millions off it, and the nigga ain't get shit.
Got a lot to pay for.
Still to this day.
Shit you don't think of that. Esau, man.
It's a lot.
But I'm gonna go back to here. I'm back in Leviticus 26 and 45. But I will, for their sakes, remember the covenant of their ancestors, who I brought forth out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen.
In the sight of the heathen, that was a great deliverance, and all the other heathen round about, they were scared shitless. They were scared because Egypt was the mega power at that time.
Yeah.
And Israel, and the way that we were delivered from them, man, the heathen round about, they shook.
Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like now, when America gets destroyed, they see the missiles. The way that the Lord's going to destroy America, you're going to know it was through utter hatred. With all the missiles pounding America, and then and those other nations, like we always say, it's going to be televised. They like to say the revolution shall not be televised. That's right. It's going to be televised, man. You got something called satellites. That's right. They're going to see the chariots. They're going to see brothers getting beamed up. So them mother efforts are going to be shook to death.
Yeah, they're going to be shook.
They're going to be scared.
The Lord is going to be magnified because guess what? Only one, hey, even the servants that's out there teaching the truth, because the heathen gonna say, damn, those were the men. They're gonna see the deliverance, see him getting beat up on chariots. And this time they're gonna see it back in Egypt, they heard it by word of mouth. This time they're gonna actually visually see it.
They're gonna see.
It says, in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their power.
Right.
I am the Lord.
The Most High did it in the sight of the heathen, so that way he was magnified through that. He was magnified through that.
Well, I got something for you. Quick precepts.
Right.
This is Ezekiel 20. I'll just go straight to the point. But this is talking about going into the history also. It says, but I wrought, I'll start at 8. It says, but they rebelled against me, talking about Israel, and would not hearken unto me. They did not every man cast away the abomination of their eyes, neither did they forsake the idols of Egypt.
Right. So they were still caught up in the idols of Egypt, i.e. today, the whack conscious community over there on 125th. What are they all caught up with? They caught up with the fucking idols of Egypt, all that Egyptian bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay? Talking about you niggas, you don't go back to no fucking Egypt. You even Sonetta in some of them videos even said out of his own mouth, no, I'm not an Egyptian, I'm not an Egyptian. Then what the fuck are you niggas constantly
Well, that's money.
about
It's all about
Egypt
that.
for?
It's about that money, bro. That shit generates money.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of fucking witches.
Yeah, I
They're a
got
bunch of witch
precept.
doctors.
Yeah, I got a precept for you. This is Ezekiel 38:23. It says, thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord.
See, that's why the Lord will take Esau, the so-called white man, out.
That's right.
Yeah, to save his elect, right? But for his own name's sake.
Yeah.
You know?
Because through Esau, the whole world basically forgot that there's a Most High.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
They forgot that there's a power in heaven.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Wait, you watch Donald Trump go pass an executive order. Bibles, no more Bibles. We got these menaces on the streets of America and around the world.
Yep.
Preaching hate with that Bible. I'm gonna pass an executive order. No more Bibles.
Yeah, he's gonna do it.
The only thing keeping the Most High's name is us.
That's right.
All right. But pursuant to what the elder just read here, in Zechariah 14:9, the Lord says, in that day shall his name be one. His name be one. He's going to make himself known again. The whole world is going to be unmistakable that there is a Most High. The shit that he's going to do, bring upon this place, all right? He's going to make the whole world remember Ali Ashaja, you know?
Terrible demon like God.
Yeah,
You know those niggas that sold out to Esau and tried to hide the name? He got special death for your ass.
Yeah.
A special death, man.
You might have a Sphinx appear out of somewhere and chasing,
you know?
chasing down the shit.
Hey, the Lord said he's going to put all the plagues on
Yeah.
Egypt as he's done before. It's going to be apparitions. And that's another thing that's not, we don't talk about enough. Hey,
Yeah.
the Lord be having them demons in them haunted houses in certain places be fucking with Esau and niggas.
Yeah.
You know, grabbing them out their bed, levitating them and throwing them out, throwing shit at them.
Yeah.
The Lord is terrible, man. That's where you get the word poltergeist. It means noisy spirit.
Yeah.
Man, a lot of them unsolved mysteries or motherfuckers that die, like, how the fuck does motherfucker end up like this? It'd be an angel or a spirit. Like that one dude, man, a couple months ago, he was on a highway and his car flipped. This motherfucker landed on top of the highway sign.
Yeah.
On top of
Yeah,
that.
he was hanging up there.
Then you had that super faggot that was from Bridgeport. He rolled over and just ran in the bushes and somehow the whole car just engulfed. He was a flaming faggot.
Yes, he committed them flames. The Most High has a sense of humor too, man. Yeah. You put that dude in flame. I remember that over there, right there in Derry.
Darien. Yep.
Yep. So I'm gonna finish this here. This is Ezekiel 20 and 8. It says, neither did they forsake the idols of Egypt. But then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger against them in the midst of the land of Egypt. So back then the Most High wanted to smoke all of Israel.
Yep.
All right. But it says, verse 9, but I wrought for my name's sake that it should not be polluted before the heathen. Why? Because the argument that Moses brought, he said, look, these are your people. How's it going to look if you destroy them? And he's like, damn, you're right. You know, he was right. Right? It says, but I wrought for my name's sake, for his name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen.
That's right.
among whom they were, the Egyptians.
Yep.
All right, so the Egyptians, they're not our people. We're not Egyptians. All right, in whose sight I had made myself known unto them, in bringing them forth out of the land of Egypt. So Moses was there, you know, doing the miracles and all that in his name of the Most High, right? But they actually felt the presence of the Most High when he split the waters.
Yep.
And that chariot was there, and then he closed it back up. Then it was like unmistakable. The power of Israel do not fuck with the power of Israel.
Yep.
Okay? Because he took out the whole damn army in one swoop.
That's right.
Hey, it's heavy you mentioned that about the chariot. Brother just had a video up where the chariot was sucking up the water, and brother had it said the heathens were dismayed that there was a chariot there and the water was being sucked up. There was 2 chariots on both sides, and then they left and the water just dropped back down. You have many eyewitnesses and people recording it, man. That's the power of the Lord.
And then the chariot that was a fire by night and a cloud by day, leading us you know, when we were going out of Egypt. When we were passing through the Red Sea, the chariot actually came down and stood between the camp of Israel and the Egyptians to keep them off our ass, to let us cross onto the other side. So the chariot actually came down and stood in the way and basically blocked the Egyptians from getting to us, because they was hot on our ass as we were walking through that parted part of the sea.
Good. That's why the heathen, with them in that whole Freemasonry thing, to get more light, more technology. That's what the whole thing, that technology, so they can try to fight against the Most High.
Yeah.
Now you brought out a show, we're going through the history of NASA. That whole thing was created to fight against the Most High and the angels.
Yeah, NASA's a war program.
Look at that.
It's a war program against the Most High, Yahushua, and the angels. Because they know there's going to be a great battle. They know Revelation, the 12th chapter. See, in the Catholic Church, they teach us it's talking about a battle in heaven between Michael, the Archangel, the Most High. But the elites, they know what that's really talking about. That's talking about a war that they're going to have. They're going to have with Yahushua and the angels.
Chariot.
Yep.
One might say, "Oh, that's a water spout," but that's the chariot right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Look at that.
And then there was a chariot in Iran a couple of days ago.
Yep.
Yep. That they saw in Iran.
Then you had one of the chariots that cleaned up a chemtrail. And the Lord just teasing and playing with them because that, you know, the prophecy still got to be fulfilled. That's why they know and they see that they're trying to hasten and bring this new world order.
Yep. And now, this should have been on the major news networks.
They gonna put that up.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna put that up.
Yep. But so I'm gonna finish Ezekiel. Excuse me. Verse 9. It says, "But I wrought for my name's sake that it should not be polluted before the heathen, among whom they were, in whose sight I made myself known unto them, in bringing them forth out of the land of Egypt." So it's going to be the same thing in modern day Egypt. When Yahushua comes, okay, he says, "I'm not going to meet thee as a man." And he says he's going to come with all the hosts of heaven. They're going to know, all right? It says, "Wherefore I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt and brought them into the wilderness." Okay?
And when he brought us into the wilderness, we couldn't come into the promised land because the elders among the people at that time, they were totally caught up into the Egyptian way of life, the Egyptian worship. They couldn't get rid of it. In other words, you couldn't teach an old dog new tricks. So what the Most High had to do for 40 years, we walked around in a circle, and basically when the older generation passed and the children became grown-ups, Joshua and Caleb were the only 2 from the older generation that were left. And all of the children that had came out in that 40 years became grown. The children and Joshua and Caleb went into the promised land, to the land of Canaan, to take it away from you nasty, stinking, funky-ass Hamites. Because you were doing, like it says in Wisdom of Solomon, most odious works of witchcraft and sacrifices of men's flesh.
Yep. And the Israelites that didn't make it, that died in the wilderness, those were Egyptologists, basically.
Yep.
You could say.
Yeah,
they were Egyptologists.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same spirit.
Those are the 2 turds.
They didn't want to let that old way go. That represents how Lot's wife. She looked back. She loved that old way. That's why she has birth. That represents 2/3 of Israel. They ain't gonna let this world go. On modern day Egypt, and they asked them to burn and turn them to pillar of salt.
That's right.
Good.
All right, I would design one.
All right, so we'll go back to Alexander. Because the topic today, well, basically it's an open forum for those of you that just joined.
Spirit,
But the spirit, the spirit's movable.
Yeah.
But you got the dude Donald Trump, and all your brothers are watching this cocksucker.
Today makes 1 week, man.
1 week, and this guy, how much executive order now? 13 or 15?
At least
14, I think.
Yeah. And by
14, 15.
and guess what? He ain't gonna take no rest. Tomorrow, Saturday, he's gonna be putting more executive orders up there.
Yep.
But basically, everything is closing in, and the things are hastening even more. The time of what's hastening? The time of our enemy's destruction, so-called white man known as Edom.
Yep, and Jacob's trouble.
And Jacob's trouble.
Yep.
And that's why we read Maccabees also, because that happened in history.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we're at Esau's end. We're reading about Esau's beginning, all right, and what was going on at the time.
Hey, history repeats itself. You had some that joined the heathen, that represents the niggas out there. Then you had Maccabees and whatever, and then they all came together to fight against the heathen. That represents the elect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, brothers, let me go on this. So this is First Maccabees, the first chapter, and I'm gonna start back at verse 1. I'm gonna read quick. First Maccabees 1:1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chetam, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead and over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds. So you gotta picture that, man. All them strong. A lot of them. Look at you had the Persians and the Medes, and them different Hamitic rulerships.
Yep.
All right.
That subjugated all of them.
Yeah, different Moabite rulerships, and he just took them all out, man, with no problem.
Yeah, powerful kingdoms too.
And and the top kingdom at that time was the Persians.
That's right.
And he took them the fuck out. So it says, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations. In other words, he had them in total subjection.
That's
When
right.
you take down a nation, you take their shit. That means you just took. That's yours.
Yeah.
So he took all their spoils, their gold, their silver, all natural resources. All right, their riches.
Also, their gods.
Yeah, and their gods.
Yep.
Because Esau, the so-called white man, these are to all the different deities that they worship goes back to the Babylonians, or it might be some ancient Moabite god. That's why here in America, you could go into any worship you want to go into. That's how Esau gets down.
That's how Rome was.
That's how Rome was. And that's the so-called white. That's how you know the so-called white man is Esau. I do me. Right. It says, verse 3, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, meaning he was the king of the earth. Didn't fucking with him.
Yeah.
Let's just do what the fuck he says.
Yeah, there was no one there to fuck.
There was no one to fight him.
Nobody had an answer for him.
Right.
Right. Quiet.
And who set him up? The Heavenly Father set him up, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua set his ass up, mainly to take us down. And if you know anything about our history, going back from the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Persians and the Medes, the Greek, it was like we're just being passed. It was just passed the buck.
Passed around. Yep.
Yeah, because if one heritage of Babylonians are ruling, we served slavery under the Babylonians. When they were taken down, we were inherited by the Persians and the Medes. All right, we rule over you now.
One captivity to the next.
Yeah, one to the next, to the next, to the next.
That's right.
And the Lord promised us that for us breaking his laws, statutes, and commandments. He's going to put the heathen, our enemies, over us. And our ultimate enemy, which is Esau, the so-called white man. That's why the Lord put that spirit in Alexander to just catch wreck.
Hey, just to bring it up today, in Alexander, he was also in I had an old encyclopedia, I can't find no more, but it brought out that he was a true believer of the New World Order. So after every nation he conquered, one of the decrees he made out was to give take their sons to bring into his army to bring in that one world order.
Right. Because that was unheard of.
Yep, that was unheard of.
Because the Babylonians are fighting you, gonna be just Babylonians in the army.
Right.
And they put you other people into subjection, but he started taking different men or different boys from all the other nations he conquered and brought them into the army.
And Rome continued that, like, you know.
Like America, you got a gook, you have a nigger, a spick, you have a damn Arab, all in their army. That's what that whole cartoon G.I. Joe was about, was the New World Order army.
That's right. It says, let me read this here. And went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up, proud. Donald Trump. Not saying that that's Alexander, but he's proud. That's Esau's, that's the Edomites' MO.
Yeah.
Especially their elites. Proud. You know,
he embraces that spirit. Yep.
Lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, or strong army, and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. They had to pay them taxes.
That's right.
You know?
And they kick up the money.
Kick it up. You know? It says, verse 5, and after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. And by this time he was 32 years old. When Alexander came into power, he was 20 years old. Okay? And it shows you, and it also shows you the minds of men back then. A 20-year-old nowadays can't even clean his ass.
No, he won't play video games all day, playing Madden.
A 20-year-old had the mindset to conquer the whole earth and conquer it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's an Edomite, he's a devil.
Yeah.
But it shows you the mindset of men back in those days.
Well, that's why the part of the New World Order and their witches and enchanters came up with that things of poisoning the minds and messing with the minds of the people. That's why you got, before the 80s, it was 1 out of 1,000 with autism. Now it's 1 out of 50. You know, to mess with the mind so people don't come up against or rebel against the New World Order. Yeah. Now, we took some of the vaccinations and been through some of that shit, but the Lord, the power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua supersedes that, and to give us his knowledge.
That's right. It says, and after these things he fell sick, which he had syphilis, when you look up the history, which is the equivalent of AIDS. The guy was a homosexual. The white man is the king of homosexuality. I mean, Ham came with it, but Esau just took it.
Yeah, he's part of the LGBT community.
Yeah, the LGBT. Yeah. You know, bunch of fucking freaks and weirdos. But yet you think America's gonna go on. Like that damn rally they had last week. All them pieces of shit, man.
Yeah, the menstruous.
Them things you call women. Oh, you know? The Dykathon. Then they had a demon-a-thon today with the pro-lifers. Which the so-called, well, you ain't righteous, man. You the devil of the Bible speaker. Then you had that Uncle Tom Haitian bitch over there crying with the white man. And I'm gonna say this, man. We're coming to the end of you, the nigga woman. All right, your time is up too, man.
Oh yeah, like that video you sent earlier.
Yeah,
with
that bitch I got.
No, not that one. IUIC.
Oh, okay. Yeah, bring it up. Talk about.
Yeah, I forgot the name of this shit. But the brother GMS, how's his channel? GMS Sharp. The brother Sharp. Yeah. On the Texas brothers got on his channel. Basically, another video IUIC kissing a woman's ass, saying that the black woman is going off because of the Israelite man. Yeah. And we fucked up, or we're fuck ups.
But the scriptures.
So we won't marry him.
So we won't marry him. We won't go on marriage.
Hold on, you faggot ass niggas. These black and Latino bitches are enjoying their freedom. They don't want to settle down. Yeah. They want one nigga to pay the rent, one nigga to pay their car note, one pay the weed or they fake nails. They got a list of men that they solicit that coochie to get their bills paid. They're not looking to settle down.
Okay. And you would be a dumbass to fucking settle with one of these hoes. Because all she gonna do is be creeping on you all the time.
That's it.
You be an asshole. So basically, if you get in there and you get it, you knock it, move on.
And it gets worse when you marry. When they married a hoe, that's when she turns into
first of all, he was getting married in this kingdom no way. Yeah. First of all, what is marriage? See, them dudes are man, IUI, that's the damn Christian church, man.
Yeah.
They're worse than crep low down.
That's what it is.
You know? But all this bullshit is coming to an end, man. You know, all this, playing around and all this crazy shit that you see happening out here is coming to a close, man.
Right.
You know, all the bullshit, that the bullshit stops here.
Yeah.
And the bullshit's gonna stop, man. You know.
And their revenue is about $5 to $8 million a year.
Who's this?
Logan burn. How you gonna
Well,
say?
brother,
They gonna burn their ass.
yeah, they gonna be no more dollars. That dollar, there's gonna be an executive order to stop dollar bills.
So how they gonna build it Black Wall Street and all this shit when the stock market crashes? I mean,
Wait a minute. So the kingdom that the Lord is promising to us under Yahweh Shai is just gonna be us ruling. Why would you want to rule next to your enemy, side by side with him? That's the money
in his system. Yeah.
Exactly. So any of you that follow, see, them guys know what they're doing. They're demons. They were paid to do what the fuck they're doing and teach what they're teaching. Any of you that follow that shit, man, and cold-heartedly, you're gonna die. Scripture says the blind leads the blind, they shall both fall into the ditch. You're gonna fall in the ditch with those demons, man. But those of you who are in there, man, that you know something ain't right, your spirit ain't with that, man, get out of there quick, brothers. But you know what? Whoever the elect are, they're gonna be taken out of there anyway.
Yeah, my sheep heard my voice.
Yahweh Shai said, "My sheep hears my voice."
Yeah, they call the congregation there, or the people in the congregation that watch GMS videos, they call them the secret chippers.
Yeah, so you got brothers in there that actually, you know, so you brothers, man, look, man, just man up and get the fuck out of there, man. Because that place is going to lead you to death. I mean, more and more, the guys get more and more demonic.
Of course, that money.
You know?
Corrupts you, man. The scripture say a gift destroys the heart.
Yep, evil seducer shall wax worse and
What
worse.
was happening in the West? Look at all types of blacks in them guys.
That money.
You know?
The love of money. You know, you need money to go on and to live, but the scripture said the love of the money is the root of all evil.
There's going to come a time where there's going to be no more money. What are you going to do? You know? And that time is very close. This is back and brothers having precepts of, you know. It says, and after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
There's just four generals.
There's four generals.
Hey,
Ptolemy, Seleucus, you know, Macamachus, Cassandra, Blasphemicus, right?
Hey, basically he went from looking a healthy, strong cracker to looking like Eddie Long gone before he dropped the bucket.
Yeah,
because it's up to the Most High how long your rulership is up to the Most High.
right. And how long you on the earth?
How long on earth?
Because he's 32, I mean, you know, he took his faggot ass out.
He just conquered the whole known world, but he didn't get to enjoy it.
Right.
He got
That was his lot, to come on the earth and be that leopard and take down the nations quick. So his four generals ruled the four different regions of the known world at the time.
Yep.
You know. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. Yep. Like Antiochus, you know, other guys.
And those four generals, they were fighting each other to take the lands that each other had.
Yep.
They were fighting each other. They were going to war against each other.
Yep. Yeah. Just like Esau is doing today.
Yeah, because it's still inner fighters amongst the Illuminati. Now they come up like how the mafia came up with the commission instead of knocking off one boss. They got that from the so-called Jew.
Yep.
That's why the Meyer Lansky
was the brainchild of all of that.
Cut. Yep. Yeah, I think he got whacked for stealing. But anyway, fucking they got that from Amalek because the elites, they had a board of commission to vote instead of trying to take each other out. But the Rothschilds are the supreme leaders of this wicked filth.
Check that out.
That's right, man. Let's lock it. And it reads on to say here, I just lost my place. Bear with me, brothers.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but like we said earlier, Alexander the Creep, the whole that's when Esau really got his foot into a power.
Right.
Know?
That's when he first raised him up. From before that he was in this decrepit state. He was the lowest of the low. The Lord said he'll give the kingdom to basis. Somebody get that for me? The basis of men. mean the lowest of the low. That's the so-called white man. And the Lord, now the whole, Most High is back. He'll take a nation as the basis of men. Now look at him now. Every nation on the earth wants to be him.
Yep.
You got gooks, the so-called the Asians, all right? The politically correct way to call them, right? You got them putting blonde hair. They're putting blonde in their hair, like them Japanese. They love putting blonde in their hair. They're trying to widen their eyes. Whenever they make a cartoon about themselves, they look like a little white boy.
Yep.
But dude, you don't look like that. That's not like you watch Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
All of them Japanese cartoons, they all have big eyes.
Yeah, they all like.
Because deep down inside, they know something's wrong with them. Right?
You know, something's wrong.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong with Ching Chang Wang. Right?
They all dress with Esau's apparel.
They wear his apparel.
That's right.
They talk like him. You would get with a goop bitch. This is a goop bitch from the suburbs somewhere. Hey, how you
She
doing?
sounds like an Edomite.
Damn, man. Damn, man. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, you're a gook. You know?
Yeah, sound like an Edomite.
You know? But
So
every point, the point I'm making is every nation on the earth. Wait a minute. I don't give a fuck. It could be a friggin' Arab bitch that want to strap bombs on himself. They all have a dream of marrying a white guy. That's why shows like The Bachelor and all them shits are making all that money.
Yeah.
Because all these women, it ain't just white women watching the fucking Bachelor, man.
Oh.
All women of all, especially nigger women, the black women, but all the women of the earth want the white man. But he's the basis of men. And I showed you the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He braids them up to get ready to pull his ass down.
Yep.
And the power of power, which is witchcraft.
Yep.
This is First Maccabees, right where I left off. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Yep.
You know, so when the white man, so-called white man, got into power, evils were multiplied just like today. And the word evil means bad times. In other words, all right? Evils were multiplied all throughout the earth.
Yeah, because they basically own the whole so-called known world at that time. So Esau was able to spread. That's when all that homosexual shit started spreading. Them, the gems and all that, and he was able to push it forth onto all the nations because he controlled them all at that time. So he was able to push forth his agenda. That's what happens when the wicked get into power. All right, and the same thing here in America. I mean, here, America is the Greek Empire all over again, and the Roman Empire all again, and America is a so-called epicenter of the world, and anything that goes on here in America gets pushed on to the rest of the earth. If you go to Iran right now, which a couple of years ago, well, before 9/11, it was different. You go over there now, you got women talking about women's rights over there in fucking Iran, okay? Talking about women's rights and I don't need a man and women's independence and all that shit. Because now they got, they can watch freaking, they got United States channels going over there.
Yeah, they watch MTV.
MTV. Same thing in Jamaica and Haiti.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there wasn't as much influence, United States influence, because you only got one channel.
One channel, and they showed the news.
Showed the news.
It might put Mr. Belvedere on, or or a couple of cartoons.
Yeah.
And then video, and it signed off.
Yep. I remember Haiti was like 1 or 2 channels, and it was Asian channels.
Yeah, one channel, and it signed off.
Yep.
Most of the day.
They didn't have like satellite TV and all that shit, but now they're watching all these movies.
They got cable TV over there.
They got cable TV. They're watching what's that? The black bitches and shit, where they always fighting and shit.
Oh, the housewives.
Yeah. Music videos.
Yeah.
All right. So now America, that's why America is that sinful kingdom. And Amos, that sinful kingdom, is talking about America. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you know that scripture in Proverbs that as the ruler is, so as the people.
Yeah.
That's in the Apocrypha, ain't it? I think that's in the Apocrypha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But there's a one in Habakkuk where it talks about how he gives the bottle to his neighbor.
Yeah. Now they push that shit, that gay and lesbian shit, gender hard. They got some nigger movie out called Moonlight or something, and they talking about what a great Oscar award and all this other bullshit. And all this pushing is a black homosexual, man. A black faggot. Over there they have, like, damn, why Esau pushing it? Because it look like a nigga, the way they put the credits in to deceive you, or the clips, as a black man supposed to be stepping in, taking care of his son. You know, something supposed to have that positive image. That was a nigga over there raising up and looking out for a black little faggot. And Esau giving it all kind of Academy Awards and all that other stuff.
I got that scripture for you. And this is Apocrypha, Sirach 10 and 2. But I'll start at 1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Right, and then we got an example of that during the time of Solomon.
Yep, exactly.
Solomon was a real prudent man. The word prudent means wise. He's the wisest king ever, which we all know who King Solomon is in the reincarnation. That's Yahweh Shai. All right? And when he ruled the people, that they gave you one example, there were 2 women, 2 harlots that had the baby, and then he found out who was the real mother.
Yeah, one died, and the mother's, one of them stole the other lady's child.
Right.
It said it was hers.
Yeah, but then she was like, she didn't care if the child got split into 2. But the one that was actually the mother, she said, no, go ahead, have the baby. I don't want it cut. You know? But the point of the matter is, read that scripture again right there.
Yeah, it says,
A
a wise judge will instruct his people,
That's right.
and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
And how did he instruct the people? By the words, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Heavenly Father, which is located where? In the Bible, man.
Okay.
And everything will be well put in order.
Yeah.
And the Lord is starting with his elect, us, to be that example. Because the ones of us that make it up out of here, man, when all this shit goes down, we're gonna be the government, the governing body. You know, and then and then we're gonna be lords over the nations. The nations are they're gonna go by the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father. It ain't gonna be no, okay, you believe in this or you believe like how Esau's running things. That's wickedness. Everybody's gonna worship Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. And those nations that don't want to do so, they're gonna receive what? No rain.
They're gonna receive that rod of iron.
And let me say it right.
Yep.
They'll receive no rain and more.
Yeah.
You know?
It's gonna be a Austrian kingdom. The Lord said we're gonna rule with an iron fist, literally.
Yeah. So read on, Anthony.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh no, he's just talking about Solomon when you read that.
Yeah.
That's why when he sent up the prayer, he asked the Lord to give him knowledge, wisdom, understanding, so he could judge this great people aright.
And the Lord loved that.
Yeah, man.
Because he asked for that, he gave him everything. He gave him abundance of everything. You know?
So verse 2, it says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
Right. So if you have a wicked judge, the officers, the deputies, they're only wicked as hell.
Corrupt. Yep.
Corrupt. Just like America.
Just like America.
The wicked is ruling, and you got nothing but corruption.
Yeah, there's no justice here.
Corruption.
Yep. Here, money rules. If you got enough money, you can get away with any fucking crime here in America.
That's right.
You know, everything here is corrupt.
Yeah.
And the judge, well, who's the judge? You got the so-called president, right? Let's take Obama, for example. This guy is a straight up homosexual, right? So what do you expect? Of course, he passed the LGBT community. Now, if this guy didn't believe in homosexuality, if he was going according to the scriptures, all right, Leviticus 20:13 and all that, you think he would be passing some laws to protect LGBT community? He would have passed laws to go executive order. Any man found laying with another man, going to be put to death. You lock him. That's what the police are supposed to be doing. If this was a righteous society, police officers, they're supposed to be rolling up in them LGBT bars and arresting everybody, right? Like that gay bar that got shot up in Florida a couple months ago or whatever. Okay?
Yeah, it should have been the cops doing that.
Yeah.
But then, y'all talking about Obama, y'all miss Obama. What's Obama's legacy with him being in the presidency? He allowed gays to get married.
Well, those are the ones that miss him.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's who's rallying, all them rallies.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. It says, as a judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. You see?
That's right.
And that could also go into within the nation of Israel. you know, going into the different Israelite camps, the leaders, the apostles, the elders of these different camps. Okay, so if you're a leader, if you're an elder, apostle, leader in this thing, so you gotta be an example, because whatever your men under you see you doing, they're gonna follow suit, basically. Okay.
That's right.
Let me see. Verse 4 says, "The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord." So the Lord controls who rules these different kingdoms and who gets shut down. All right. So it says the power of the earth, meaning the person in rulership. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Just like you mentioned about King Solomon. All right. And in due time, who's going to send over the earth in this time is Yahweh Shai, okay, the elect, and then the rest of Israel underneath, all right? And we're profitable. We're going to be profitable, meaning we're going to be following the law, statutes, and commandments that the Lord set up, okay, the instructions that he set up, you see? Because since the time of King Solomon, all right, there hasn't been a time where the scriptures was the law of the land. All right. Even though here in America they say that, I forgot what the statute code is, but there's a statute here in America that declares the Bible the law of the land. And supposedly the Constitution was so-called written with the Bible in mind, which that's a lie. Okay. But the United States it doesn't recognize the Bible as a law of the land. Of course not. Okay. And we could see that. And years ago, the Esau caught themselves being the Christians and following the scriptures and all that. But Esau is going to be Esau. So as the time goes on, just like the scripture said about how his wickedness rusts.
Yeah.
Right. As time goes on, he can't hold up that image for too long, because he's the devil. So as you see now, it is 2017. They're flaming. And you don't see no Edomites talking about God and Christian and all that. Now they just letting out the homosexuals. You see them walking down the street holding hands and kissing. Okay, I remember before they used to hide themselves. Okay, but since Obama came in office, they proud. They're walking down the streets holding hands. And all of that.
They're protected by the law.
They're protected by the law. They're respected. They have more rights than a straight person got. Now the shit got so bad here in Babylon, confusion, that now that all these companies on a job application now, they're not going to have Mr. and Mrs. You're not going to have Mr. and Mrs. Or they're going to have to ask you, how would you like to be addressed? Okay, now what they're doing in these corporate jobs is they're sending emails to everybody, and in the email, they ask you, well, how would you like to be addressed? Mr., Mrs., because now you got motherfuckers complaining in these corporate offices that when people come up to them and speak to them, they say Mr. Jones or Mr. whatever, and they suing these different companies because they went to the hospital, they got a sex change, now they're Mrs. So now you got to address them as Mrs. All right,
that's crazy. Yeah, getting sued for discrimination. Esau's a piece of shit.
8-year-old transvestites.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the androgynous society. They want that to be androgynous, like how you looked at Chris Tucker during that movie, The Fifth Element. How you got Will Smith, whatever the fuck his name.
6 Degrees of Separation.
No, his son.
Oh, that motherfucker.
Yeah, Jaden.
Jaden is talking about he want to cut off his genitalia because he doesn't want to be known as a gender. That's all part of the New World Order, androgynous society.
Yeah, because they got him dressed up like a woman, and then they got Willow dressed up like a boy.
Yeah.
Role reversals.
Yeah, totally fucked up, man. Verse 3, it says, "And an unwise king destroyeth his people." There we go. Esau, he's destroying the people, right? Destroying his people by what? By the way of spreading wickedness. All right?
Right.
Because ultimately, following the ways of Esau, guess what? This is why America is going to be destroyed.
Like, they had this bitch that just dropped dead. She was an old hag any old goddamn way. Mary Tyler Moore. And they're paying homage to this old demon. Basically, she had a TV show back in the early 70s called Mary Tyler Moore Show, which was pushing what? Single women, independent woman.
Yeah.
Women don't need no man. You know, that's what they bigger up for that shit.
Right.
But really, I mean, they said that she pioneered that. Really, there was a black bitch by the name of Diane Carroll had a show before that called Julia.
That's right.
Where she was a single black bitch. She had a little job as a nurse. She took care of her son. And there was an episode, I remember that there was as a kid watching it years ago, watching it, there was an episode where the little son tried to hook her up with the TV repairman, like this Jake.
Yeah. At
the end of the show, she had to sit her son down a little bit. Look, I'm happy the way things are. I don't need a man, basically. And this is you get a picture. This is during a time where that was a new thing. You know, it was always taught that women needed their man.
Yeah.
Take care of your man. They knew how to cook, or they were taught how to cook. That's why now what you have today. You get a chick, she can't cook. She wants you to take her out.
Yeah.
You know, let's go out to eat. That's what you have now. But that's Esau's that's a part of his instruments of destroying the family, destroying the scruples of the people. He's a destroyer.
Yeah. He's an unwise king.
And he uses TV and his movies to do it.
Yep. Like you said earlier, the Most High, the scripture said the Most High set the basis of men over it. And yeah, he destroyed the people. Their mind is destroyed. All right. The identity is destroyed.
That's right.
They are, now you got homosexuals, men sleeping with men, women sleeping with women. So that's destroying the people, the population. And you people are so fucked up now that you don't know, you can't even see this new world order coming, okay? And you're so far gone. And the reason why Esau, this unwise king, has destroyed your minds is because he wants to keep you going off so the Most High is not with you and with us. And he wants to keep your mind occupied and distracted from what his ultimate plan, which is that new world order, in which he plans to destroy 2/3 of y'all anyway. Yeah. They got a thing called the Georgia Guidestone. So ultimately, he's going to literally destroy you. You see? And then he destroys what? The air. He destroyed the food, okay, that you eat, the air that you breathe, and the water that you drink. So it says an unwise king destroyeth his people. That's an unwise king. All right? But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Now, when we're ruling, the scriptures tell you what? A little one shall become a nation. The earth is going to be populated. It's going to be populated so much that we're going to have to move to other planets. That the scriptures said. Yahweh Shai said that I go, I don't want to say it wrong. He said,
my father's mansion is many houses.
No, my fans, yeah.
My father's house is
many mansions. And he said, I go to
prepare a place.
Prepare a place. Okay.
Yeah. And he said, he's out. So Yahweh Shai, really, he's the angels, they working right now because they preparing the kingdom of heaven. He's preparing his rest, which is that kingdom of heaven, for us and him, because Yahweh Shai is going to be there too.
Yep.
Okay.
Be joint heirs with him.
Yeah,
it's his kingdom.
Yeah, it's another thing, man. It's like it, bro. That our people don't understand the Most High. They don't understand Yahweh Shai. It's far-fetched to them if we tell them, like, look, Yahweh Shai, he's going to be living here on earth amongst us. Yahweh Shai is going to have women. He's going to have wives. Okay, he's going to have slaves.
Children.
He's going to have children. He's going to be living among us. The things that he couldn't enjoy when he was back here is Yahweh Shai. The last time, because he came here to do a mission. And the Lord promised him the kingdom. He promised him slaves pursuant to Isaiah, was it 82 or 83? And pursuant to Revelation chapter 2, okay? When he's talking about the rod of iron, okay? He's gonna have everything that he had as King Solomon and more. Okay? Yahweh Shai. And people don't really know the Lord, man. Okay? They don't know the Most High. The Most High is a man of war. Okay?
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead, bro.
Hey, John chapter 14. I'm going to start at the first verse. It says, let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. No, yeah. Believe also in me, is Yahweh Shai speaking.
Mm-hmm.
In my Father's house are many mansions.
Yeah, what's the Most High's house? The Most High's house is the entire universe.
Heaven is his throne and the earth is his footstool.
Yep. Heaven is throne and the earth is his footstool. So this whole universe, and the Most High said he laid it out like a curtain. I mean, he just spread it out, man. Okay? So we can't even fathom, we have no idea how big the universe is. Esau, if there was Hubble telescopes, all right, he has admitted that there's warp zones and black holes out there. And you go in one of the warp zones, you end up in another dimension. Okay, or another part of the galaxy. You see, that's what them angels are going in and out of wormholes, and they call them wormholes, going in and out of them portals and them black holes. You see, those are the entrances to different dimensions. Stuff that we don't, man, we can't even imagine. That's why the scriptures say eyes not heard, right? Or eyes have not seen, nor ears have heard what the Most High has prepared for us. You know, and Esau has movies like that movie, what's that movie where they had Avatar? Okay, Avatar, when they went into that force, he had the different plants that would light up. You touch them, they light up.
Yep.
And them different beasts. This is stuff that Esau has seen somewhere. He made movies about it.
Well, he gets visions of them. Demons show it.
Gets visions. And we have visions too, man. We had dreams and visions of chariots and the way the kingdom of heaven and spiritual power. These are things that we're actually going to have that the Most High show us in our sleep or in visions. You know, little things here and there to help carry you along to the end.
Yeah, this is 2 Corinthians 4:17. It says, for a light affliction, which is but for a moment, working for us a far more exceeding an eternal weight of glory.
Yeah, that's why we can't weigh ourselves down with the little this hell that we go through. We're not to weigh ourselves down with it, man. Because what we're gonna get out far, the greatness we're gonna inherit under Yahweh Shai is way far greater than this little pinch that we're going through, man.
Yeah, that's the attitude.
So we gotta push them demons. We gotta curse them fucking demons, man, and keep trooping.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Remember, Yahweh Shai said, you know, he overcame the world. What was this world? Given to Satan and them demons. He overcame to be of good cheer. Another thing too separates us from them cats out there. Israel out there, the 2/3 or whatever, they have no hope. The scripture said we're saved by hope. Romans the 8th chapter.
That's right.
You know, that hope, man, that knowing. You know,
well, what is there for them to hope for? You got the Egypt town that's telling them to build up businesses here in America.
You got Nate.
To go to Esau. You got Nate, IUIC telling them you got to go through Esau system.
You got the Criplo Dollar. You got the Baptist preacher.
Yeah. That's why the scriptures say that the leaders of our people cause them to err. They don't have no hope through these other leaders.
Yeah.
They're not teaching about your house shine. You got to do away with Esau, the so-called white man, in order to truly be free. That's the only way you're going to be free. Because there's a power right now that's ruling the earth, which is Satan, manifested as what? The so-called white man. Only way for us to be totally free is that power has to be taken out. Why do you think Yahushua is coming back, man? To live with Esau side by side? He's going to chill out in the White House next to Donald Trump? Man. They show you down the ID4. He's going to blow the White House up, right? With them, the chariots and the missiles and all that.
Zechariah the 5th chapter.
Yep. Yeah, come.
Yep. It says, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, working for us a far more exceeding an eternal weight of glory, while we look not at the things which are seen. That's why mostly Israel out there is on drugs. They have no hope and they think this is it. And they know in their spirit that this is fucked up. Yeah. The incest, the racism.
And the system, man.
This whole system, everything is just fucked up. Everything. So they think this is it. Right? It says, well, we look not at the things that are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
That's right. Yeah, that's what faith is. That's faith.
Yeah.
You don't see it, but we know it's going to come.
So
we see it through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, which is this word.
Yeah.
And we know it's going to come. And again, Yahweh Shai left us those things to look at, to know, or to gauge the times that we're in. You know?
And that's why the scripture said, without faith, it's impossible to please the Most High. We being the seeds of the seed of the promise, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham was known as the friend of the Most High because he believed. He believed so wholeheartedly when the Lord told him, just as a test, to sacrifice his son Isaac, that the angel had to stop Abraham from putting that knife through. That's how much he believed and said no. Then there was a goat trapped, I believe, in the tree and bush, and that was for the sacrifice. But he believed, man.
You got more?
That's it.
That's it. All right, I'm gonna finish this up. This is back in Sirach 10:3. It says, "An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. In the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon a person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity." Verse 8, which is a point.
And the so-called white man is proud.
Yup, proud. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, right? Is in America, these different laws, these executive orders Trump is passing, all right? He's really building that wall to keep Issachar out. Even though this is Issachar and Gad's land. This is their land that they took, okay? It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, isn't Jay getting injured by these cops? Okay? And riches gotten by deceit. How did they get America? They got it by what? By deceit, right? By trickery, by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another, all right?
Read that again.
It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gone by deceit, which is how all of America.
That sums up America.
Yeah.
The U.S. of A.
That sums up America.
And nobody wants to talk about that, but we're talking about
Yes,
it.
nobody but us talks about it. Not even other Israelite groups.
I got a precept for you. This is Proverbs 13:11. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished.
Wow, read that again.
Yep, Proverbs 13:11. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase.
That's right. We're the laborers.
Laborers. Yep.
What we're doing right now, what we're going to do tomorrow, Lord willing, and other days is laboring, man.
Shall diminish.
All right? Go on, read that. Read that again.
Yep, Proverbs 13:11. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished,
Wealth gotten by vanity. Go on.
but he that gathereth by labor shall increase.
That's right.
I got something for you. 2 Samuel 7:10. It says, "Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and will plant them, that they may dwell in a place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more."
Right, that's the kingdom. Read that. Brother, read that again.
2 Samuel 7:10. "Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people
Now,
Israel."
what's that place? What you call Palestine, Israel today? That place now has to be destroyed by fire and cleansed. And when it comes back, it's going to come back like better than the days of Eden.
Yeah.
It's going to be purified, and that's the place the Lord made for us. Go on.
It says, "Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and will plant."
And who's Israel? For you brothers that might not know on there, is you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans.
Negroes.
All right?
They're called the undesirable.
The undesirables.
Last hired, the first
Yeah.
fired.
Yeah, the ones who they claim are the only illegal aliens over here. Go on.
It says that they may dwell in a excuse me, I lost my place. Let me go back. That they may dwell in a place of their own and move no more.
That's that same place that Howard Shai spoke of, where the Lord prepared a place for us. Go on.
Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more.
Who the children of wickedness? The so-called white man, the wicked. Job 9:24. All right. Malachi, the first chapter. All right. The wicked.
Scriptures.
Go on.
Okay, that was the end. That was the end of that one. And then this, let me see. I think I got it.
Man.
I got one for you while you find that one. This
I
is,
found it.
I found it. All right, go on.
Isaiah 51:6. 16. "And I have put my words in thy mouth, and I have covered thee in the shadow of mine hand." that I may plant the heavens.
Mm. Mm.
What's going to be planted out there in the heavens?
Yep,
We're going to be planted out there.
Us, yeah.
Us. We're going to be planted out there to what? Grow other
Plant the
civilizations.
heavens. God.
I'll read it again. Isaiah 51:16. It says, let me see my screen going. Here it goes. And I have put my words in thy mouth. Like, what are we speaking? The words of the Heavenly Father. So he put his words in our mouth. And I have covered thee in the shadow of mine hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth, and say unto Zion, thou art my people.
Zion, nobody. Who's Zion?
Monument, which means Israel. Israel is the monument of the Most High.
Yeah, because the Most High didn't create the universe for him to live in, right? Or the earth. He didn't create the earth for him.
He created it for us.
He created it for us.
Yeah, the earth is just footstool.
Yeah.
John said all things was created by him, for him.
By him and for him.
Yep.
Yeah, the Lord ain't gonna be down there chilling in a, you know, it says the Lord dwell not in a temple made with hands. So the Lord ain't gonna be chilling in a temple with women and all that. Just us down here eating the food, you know, eating an apple. Nah, that's the earth was created for us in the universe. The Most High created it for us, for His pleasure, you know.
Yeah, and this is Daniel's 4:17.
For His pleasure.
This matter is by the decree of the watchers. And who are the watchers? We are the prophets. All right.
Yeah.
It says, and the demand of the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whosoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. So the mere fact that the white man is ruling right now, the Lord made that happen. That was his doing.
Yeah.
But what the so-called white man don't realize is you were only put here for a short period.
Yeah.
Okay.
And after this period, there's gonna be no more nation ruling over us again.
Never.
The kingdom,
Never, ever, man.
The kingdom is going to be
Matter of fact, yeah, the kingdom ain't gonna be no more. Ain't gonna be no weapons. The scriptures go into that, because there's gonna be no need for a war anymore. Because we're gonna be total rulership under Yahweh Shai, man.
Total righteousness.
In total righteousness. We don't have that heart of flesh. We're not gonna go off no more.
Yeah.
There's gonna be no need for us to have these classes or go out in the street and bring it in the elect, because all Israel's gonna be righteous in that time.
Yeah. What Jeremiah said,
That's gonna be a time for us to enjoy and have pleasure, man. You know?
yeah, what
We have to
Jeremiah,
go, but right now we have to go through what we're going through right now. We gotta teach this word, all right? Wake up the elect, you know, go through the little hell that we go through. We have to go through that right now. But there's a flip side to this, man. All right? Anybody else is holding something?
this is gonna quote. So Jeremiah said, they who wasn't supposed to drink it and come not surely drunk it. How much more the so-called white man, who was never supposed to?
Isaiah 49:12.
Yeah, who was never supposed to? It was never written technically that we were supposed to go into slavery and we're the chosen. How much more you damn heathens?
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, the Lord said, look at all the shit that we've been through. When you look at the horror of slavery and all those different documentaries and books and ship manifest or ship captain's log, all the atrocities we went through. And the Lord said He loved us, and it's just a light affliction. How much you think Esau and other nations gonna go through, man?
Yeah.
That shit's scary.
That's
Oh,
right.
shit. I found something else.
Bring it on up.
No, how much more the heathen's gonna go through, man? That's a scary thing, man. And the Lord said, man, He loved Jacob and He loved Esau have I hated.
I've got something for you. This is Isaiah 51. Hold on, let me just go. Slack it, brother. Isaiah 51 and 21. It says, therefore, hear now this, now afflicted. All right, who's that talking to? Us, 12 tribes of Israel. All right, and drunken, but not with wine. Okay, so our people are drunken wine because they don't know who the Most High is. All right, they're following they're lost in other philosophies, so they're drunken, but not with wine, but off other philosophies. Okay, so they're spiritually drunk. Verse 22. Thus saith the Lord thy power. Thus saith the Lord, and thy power that pleaded the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling. All right? When you're driving on the street and you see a cop and he's behind you, you're trembling because you're like, fuck, I know this motherfucker's going to pull me over.
Yep.
And they do that shit on purpose, man. You take a right, they take a right. You take a left, they take a left behind you. Okay? Yeah, to F with you. It says, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Man, and this getting so bad, it's basically like the times of slavery, where like, you don't want your son going out, walking to the store, you know, walking to the corner store, going to your friend's house, because you don't know if that mother effer's gonna get shot by a cop, right? It's my computer is like, oh, maybe it's this suited. Oh, maybe, let me see. Maybe it hit the power button. Hey, brothers, give us one moment. Something just happened to the TV. Hold on a second. Okay, yeah. Hit the power button. This is Isaiah 51 and 22. It says, thus saith the Lord, in thy power that pleaded the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, all right, which is a slavery, and basically it's condition we're in now. Even the dregs of the cup of my fury, thou shalt no more drink it again. Because the Lord said there's going to be a time of Jacob that have never been since the beginning of the earth. So the cup of the Lord's fury is really about the dregs. It's really about, you thought slavery was bad. The Lord said what is coming is going to be worse than slavery. Okay? It says, verse 23, but it says, thou shalt no more drink it again. So this is going to be the last hurrah. After this, the Lord brings his trouble against Jacob. This is when the Lord is going to basically, he's going to destroy America, destroy the 2/3. Okay, set up the new kingdom as we've been reading about the whole lesson. Destroy Esau, and we shall never be in this condition again. Okay, verse 23. But I will put it in the hand of them that afflict thee. So that's going into Esau, is going into the other nations. They all afflict us. Ham, yeah, especially Ham. Especially Ham. Okay. But I will put it in thine hand, into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. Okay. And they literally used to use Jake as foot mats. The mats, they used to walk on Jake, okay, like a red carpet. I had that something called a red carpet. They'd have a black carpet, and they'd walk on Jake, you know, so that their feet wouldn't touch the ground. Yep. And a lot of them believe that if they stepped on Jake, I think they believe that it would cure them of different disease. Yeah, healing powers. Yep. Yep. It says, but I will put into thine hand, into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as a street to them that went over. Okay? So yeah. And when Jake has laid down and bowed down for these Edomites. Sure. Okay? Some voluntarily, but mostly, through force. Okay? Yeah, like them fucking cops, man. They'll send about 20 cops. They call it resisting arrest, And the mother effers, they'll send them dogs after you and shit. If you try to fight the dogs off, that's assaulting an officer.
Yeah,
what the hell do you expect?
An officer. Yep.
What the hell do they expect you to do? If I see a dog coming after me, I'm gonna try to kill that mother effer.
They throw a felony on you.
Yeah, they throw a felony on you.
There's a dog after you. If you fight that dog or kill it, now you kill the cop. Now you're getting a charge, a felony.
Yep.
Or an assault charge on the cop.
And that goes back to slavery, because of slavery they use dogs. That goes back to them war dogs that the Spaniards used to use against the Latin tribes. Yep. Okay, them war dogs, they used to hunt you down. Man, this is everything. This is just a rehash of everything that Jake, man, is from one captivity to another. All right, anybody got precepts? Got anything on?
No.
I not got something?
No, it's just
all right. I don't know, it might be a good time to close up the lesson, unless you brothers got some more stuff you want to bring up.
Good. And you know what?
Yeah, you guys. If you got
Yeah, matter of fact, we bring something up, man.
All right,
because, you know, because like we're saying, you know, things are happening fast, and you got to remember too, Yahweh Shai is coming back, man.
Right.
And we mentioned it a few times during this show how the Lord will come back. But you know what? I'm gonna read. We're gonna read it. You know, probably close it off on this.
Mm-hmm.
Like close off Yahweh Shai. This is our second Ezra, you know, the 13th chapter. You know, you mentioned the chariots. You know, this is and you know the chariots are the vehicles of like Yahweh Shai, the angels, and that's what's gonna cap it off, man. You know.
Yeah.
Cap off what? The destruction of America.
See, Yahweh Shai is gonna be in the battle. Okay. Right now, you got these. You know, back in the ancient days, man, when you went to war, the general or the leader, the general, the captain, they were in the war. They led the men to keep them all. Yeah. Huh?
They were actual leaders.
They're actual leaders. Like we were talking about that faggot Alexander the Greek. He was in there battling. Yep. You know, and they kept the morale of the army up and all that. Yep. But now you got these faggot ass, these captains and the generals. They send the army out, but they'll be chilling. Like they'll lay back or whatever. It'll be somewhere pressing a button to shoot a missile or a drone or something like that. They don't be in the battle. Yahweh Shai, when he comes back, he's gonna lead the battle. You know, the host.
And they get credit for the battle too.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, the Lord's gonna have many kills. You know, King David had a lot of kills. All right. He's gonna have, Yahweh Shai's gonna have a lot of kills.
Well, what's that Isaiah? Is that 60? Yeah. You got it?
No, I guess
bring that up.
Precept. This is about Yahweh Shai. This is Revelation 19:11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. Talking about those chariots. He that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. In righteousness, right? What's the righteousness and what's the judgment? Putting your hands on his people. Yeah. Even down from Dakota right now, even back to moving the ancient landmarks of Israel. I'm talking about over there in Palestine. I'm talking about ancient Israel, our true land. The Lord's gonna make judgment and bring war upon them. That's why, hey man, heathen, fuck a heathen. That's right. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. He that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. Many crowns.
And different kingdoms he took down.
Yeah. All the elites.
Man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yep.
The elder Ezra 13. Good. When it tells you about how he's going to smoke all them the armies in the Middle East, you know how many kills that's going to be just off of that? It says an innumerable army, innumerable amount of men. And he's going to smoke all of them. Yahweh Shai is going to smoke all of them. Okay?
So with just one laser beam, boom. Yep. They would turn to dust. That's power.
You see an example of that in War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
When them chariots, that ram's horn blew, and those arms came out, and then fire just came out. Everything it touched is what turned to dust. The scriptures say he shall beat them into powder.
Literally.
That fire hit you, basically dehydrate you, turn you into dust.
You know how rich that fertilizer got me? His eyes were his concentrated flesh that burned and purified. It's going to be great fertilizer for the earth. That's what's going to help replenish it. All those bodies or skeletons or what they call fossils regenerates the earth.
Yeah, that's why they say you'll be pushing up flowers, pushing up daisies.
Yeah, pushing up daisies.
His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. He had a name written that no man knew but he himself. That's the name of the Lord, Lashwan Kudash. Yahweh Shai. He was clothed with the vesture dipped in blood.
There it is.
And his name is called the Word of the Most High.
That's right.
A vesture dipped in blood.
So you coming to hand out flowers and tiptoe through tulips and come my child and all this other bullshit that they tell you in the church. He coming back for war.
That's right. He coming back as a white guy.
Yeah.
So you niggas, especially you niggas in sticks, you're looking for the white man. Here's the white man got his foot up in your fucking asses.
Yeah.
But yet a white man's gonna come and save you.
Hey, there's a Edomite. I can't think of the Edomite's name, but it was a video I had seen. Somebody sent it to me. One of the brothers sent it to me, and it was a older Edomite sitting there with an Edomite woman talking about him seeing UFOs, and he said it was 7 foot tall black men that came out of it.
And many of them, you know it's true, because many of them got that same testimony.
Yeah. What they do?
For decades.
Yeah, with NASA's Men in Black program,
Yep.
they go and really wipe your memory.
Yeah.
Like you had one doctor accused last week. He had one lady under hypnosis, and he touched on her. So they tell you that they have that knowledge on the left-hand side to hypnotize you and put certain thoughts
In your mind.
in your mind. Because the Men in Black, anytime you had a contact with an angel or chariot, and they would tell you that they had shiny black leathery skin, next thing you know that they come in there and put Ewas in it, that big-eyed demon that Aleister Crowley used to communicate with.
Yeah.
You know, Esau got a lot of shit to pay for.
The Ewash, you know, the typical alien,
No.
the eye and the tree finger, the eye
Yeah.
on the tree finger.
Yeah.
The typical thing that they show you in Close Encounters of the Third Kind and all of these different movies, you know, where so-called people are abducted by aliens, a fire in the sky.
Yeah.
The same thing in that movie. It was the tree finger, black eye, you know.
Yeah, there's a Jake, a Latin tribe, Issachar maybe, but he's got a video on YouTube. I don't remember the title, but he said he fell asleep in his car. He was asleep in his car, and then something he said a chariot came and basically transported him into like another dimension, and he saw Jake, black Jake, tall Jakes with Esau and Edomites in slavery, right? And he said he felt he was there for hours, right? And he went back in his car. I think the chariot transported back in his car, and he woke up. And it was only a couple minutes. Yeah, the video's on YouTube. I don't remember the name of it, but it's out there. Yep.
This Revelation 19:13 is that he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. His name is called the Word of the Most High.
That's how it's shot.
That's the Lord.
Perfect link was this, is Isaiah 63:1.
Yep.
It's a garment dyed and mighty to save. That's Yahweh Shai.
Right, because you don't have nations start with the so-called white man, the other nations. You're going to be the grapes in the wine press.
Yeah, who is this that cometh with dyed garments from Basra?
That's right. And Basra represents Esau, Edom. That's one of your ancient cities over there in Edom. The modern day Basra, the modern day Oz is America. And Yahweh Shai is coming back to get you, man, and stomp you the hell out. That red vesture represents him taking down all you nations. And you're going to be cast down, as it's written in Daniel. I beheld till all the thrones were cast down. What's the last throne? United States of America. And the other secondary rulerships Esau got out there, like Russia, and the other nations' rulerships. You're going to be cast down. You got it.
Yep. It says, "In the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine
Which
linen."
are all those the chariots.
Those are the other angels.
Yeah, the angels in the chariots.
No, Israel love to be clean, man. Look at like Friday night, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Even Jake in their captivity, they got their little bullshit chariots, which is the cars today. They wash and have them clean, throw that armor all on there. How much more glorious is Yahweh Shai gonna come, man?
Yeah, you ain't seen bling blinging yet. When you see that real bling bling, he's coming back for that to bring destruction. Yeah. It's gonna be those lasers. Yeah, the bling's gonna be them lasers. That fire's gonna shoot out of them.
The chariots blink so much that the Lord had to tell Israel not to make no idols.
Yep.
Yeah,
The scripture said he shined forth from Mount Paran.
Yep.
Yeah, so they'll make idols of the gold and silver.
So can you imagine how bad it looked? Yeah, you know?
Yep. It says, "The armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword.
which is those lasers.
Yep.
Fire.
And you read about that in Ezra the 13th chapter.
In Isaiah 66 and 15.
Isaiah 66, 15.
Isaiah 11 and 4.
Yep. It said, by my sword and by fire will I, the Lord, plead with all flesh.
That's right.
Whirlwinds.
And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it should be smite the nations.
Wait a minute, the nations. So what we've been teaching this whole night, were we going off?
No.
See, when you watch the shows with GMS, you can't say, oh, he going off. Everything we say is coming out the scriptures. Now you can watch Nate and say, yeah, he going. Man, the minute you watch him to the minute you turn it off, the whole Bible he done chopped up and broke up.
Hey, what's the scripture say? Psalms 119, 109, through thy precepts I get understanding, I hate every false way. Hey, because when you go in Revelations, the 12th chapter, where it's talking about he made war with Satan and his angels, it's talking about Esau.
Yeah.
And so it proves that it's talking about, say, he shall destroy the nations. He ain't talking about destroying spiritual demons and everything else, which they go hand in hand, but it's talking about destroying the actual damn nations.
That's right.
It says, and out of his mouth goeth the sharp sword, that with it should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and treadeth the winepress of the fierceness of the wrath of the Almighty power.
That's right.
Yeah, tread the wine press. When you got a wine press, you stomp the grapes, the blood out the grapes. And so the Lord is literally going to stomp the shit out of you. Yes. And sprinkle your blood everywhere. Again, they showed an example of that in War of the Worlds when those chariots or the UFOs came and they were grabbing people and bringing them into the ship and grinding them up and sprinkling their blood all over.
Yeah, the Lord went to sprinkle you.
They were grinding them up and sprinkling their blood everywhere.
Well, actually, they're going to be able to do that. The Lord said, Ezra the 13th chapter, they're going to be turned into dust. Smoke. No, actually smoke. Yep. You're going to be evaporated, man. Yeah. Not even your blood going to be left. You're going to be evaporated when you're outside. Gets through with you.
But they did that too. They showed that in War of the Worlds too. When they started attacking,
right,
they hitting people.
Yep.
They were turning into puffs of smoke everywhere.
Yep. I wonder where they got that from.
They got that from the Bible.
Stolen right out of the Bible.
Yeah.
Esau's a thief on every level you can think of. This is 16 verse. Revelation 19 and 16. And he had on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
That's our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
Yep. So with that, we can end it off right there.
Cut. Lion Chisel. Hey, brothers. Hey, so we say shalom to you, brothers out there, man. You know, we have more lessons for you through the spirit of Yahweh Yahushai. All right. You brothers have a lot of scriptures out there, but we didn't get to read any of them. But that's all right, man. Powerful. You know, it's powerful, man. You know, we be watching your shows too.
Yep.
You know, just stay strong, brothers. Hey, we're at the end. We're all at the end, man.
Yeah.
You know, just keep pushing on.
Just keep it going, baby.
Yep. Heard up that noise. And you know, pray fast, do what you have to do, man. And keep ask the Lord to strengthen you and help you keep pushing on, man. Satan's gonna come with you.
Cause guess what? We do it.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Satan's gonna fuck with you, but through prayer, that's why the scripture say pray without ceasing, man. You fall, you mess up, you get your ass up. You know?
Yeah. You don't, yeah.
Scripture say a righteous man falls 7 times, but he get up, man. And you know we owe Yahushai, bottom line, all of us. And this is our nation. And it's our duty. Not to be puffing, because it's all about glorifying the name of Yahushai. And after we're done, like it says in Luke the 17th chapter, it says that we're unprofitable servants. It means to stay humble, man. It's all about Yahushai, bottom line.
This is his.
Yeah, this is him. This is his kingdom, his program, his work. His name must and will be magnified.
Okay. And with that, we're going to say shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
Shalom, brethren.
To wow.
To wow.
Wow.